select the one that you believe the best one to implement in practice, right? To put into practice, right? And then you have to make decisions on that. So this means something like, you've got some choices or options, and then if you use your own method, your own method to select the best one among them, right? And then you become a decision maker. Right. So in this lecture, we will cover the topics of the manager as a decision maker means something like the definition for the decision maker and the types of decisions. And we also need to explore the typical decision-making conditions and the styles of the managers when they make decisions, as the scientists discovered. And then we study the decision-making process. There are a lot of approaches, for making decisions, right? But in here, we will study a very simple form, a simple approach for that. Can it be applied everywhere? But it needs some figures, data, in order for you to follow this process, right? Okay, when you are thirsty, right, you will think of something to drink, right? You will think of something like pure water like say Aquafina or Labi, right? Or some soft drink like Coke, Sprite, Fanta, or 7-Up, right? Or Coca-Cola, right? But you can only choose one. You can only choose one. So you have to make a choice. You have to make a choice from the available alternatives. And then decision is widely accepted, as the process of making a choice from two or more alternatives, right? And it happens, the decision-making process happens, everywhere, anytime in your life, not only in your job, right? So I think, the knowledge you can learn from this lecture, you can use for your normal life as well, not only in the work, right? Right. When you do a planning job, you need to make decisions, right? But decisions, also exist, or another word, you have to make decisions in all of the 4 functions of the management job, not only in planning, right? So you can refer to this table, to explore what type of decision you may need to make for each of the functions of the management job, right? Regarding the first one, planning, you have to make decision about the long-term objectives of the organization. The long-term objectives, right? You may need to set out something you need to achieve in the future, right? In long term, right? But there are a lot of alternatives, right? And then you have to pick out the set of objectives that you think may bring you the most benefits, right? The most benefit. Or you may need to make decision about the strategy to be used, to be implemented in your organization for you to achieve those objectives, right? So strategy, like objectives, you may have chance to develop a number of strategies, right? And then you have to find out the best one among them to choose. And the same, you may need to consider about the short-term objectives, right? And then select the best ones and the goals as well, right? That's for planning job. For the second function, organizing, right? You may need to consider the number of employees, right? Number of employees that are your subordinates. That means the ones that have to report directly to you, right? You may be interested in managing about 50 or 100 people at the same time, right? But I have to say, it may not bring you efficiency and effectiveness when you manage at the same time 100 people, because of something they call the span of control. People believe that you can control well, if you got a certain number of people as a subordinates, right? Not as many as better, no, right? Some people can manage only one person, some can manage 10, some maybe 20, but may not more than that, right? Because when you manage someone, you have to oversee their jobs, right? You have to give instruction, you have to monitor and control their performance, right? And you've got only 8 hours, 8 office hours per day, right? Maximum, right? So I have to allocate your time, for the subordinates, right? So that's why it depends on your skills and ability, and maybe the methodologies or technologies you use, the number of employees you may manage, or you may want them to report directly to you can increase, right? The second decision can be made, the second type of decisions can be made in the organizing function is the degree or level of centralization, right? When you allow the workers, the non-managerial employees, and even the first line managers to join with the decision-making process, it means you've got a high level of centralization, right? But some managers, they think that the non-managerial worker, they know nothing. They just know, some technical things, related to your own job. So when you make decision, you don't need to consult them. It's the job of the managers, or even the job of the top managers, right? So the workers have no say in the decision making process. So it's another perception of the centralization, right? And you have to make a choice. And the decision about the job designing, right, or the structure of the organization or organizational structure, right? Regarding the third one, leading function. Second, it's no way I cannot get you on the screen. So, okay. Regarding leading function, right? If you discover one of your employees who appear to be low in motivation, right? You need to find out solution for that, and you may end up with some or several solutions at the same time, and then you may need to make decision to choose best one, right? Or some more decisions about the leadership style, or if you want to apply some changes, to enhance your workers' productivity or not, right? Or make decision about stimulation of the conflicts between the employees or the subordinates, right? Regarding controlling function, right? Because in every day, your organization may have a very long list of activities to be carried out, right? So it may not distribute enough of your time to manage all of those activities, to control all of those activities. So that's why you have to find out the one thing important, right? Should be cared first, and then you will put them in a list of being controlled carefully, right? And then of course you have to make decision when you want to add in one more activity or to remove any activity from that list, right? And the way you control the activities, right? And the way you also evaluate the performance, what type of deviation you accept and what type you will not accept, right? Or something like something more complex like the management information system, right? In order to help you to manage the information in your organization, right? So these are some of the decisions related to each of the management function, and of course there are a lot more may appear in your organization, and then depends on the circumstance. You may need to carry out your one of the important jobs in your managerial duties, that is decision making, right? The decision to be issued needs to go through a process, and it is called decision making process, right? And there are a lot of things you need to consider. When you want to carry out a decision making process, right? You may need to consider about the decision making approach. If you want to follow the relational approach, or intuitive approach or not, right? When you consider about the rationality or the bounded rationality or the intuition, of the decision makers, right? Regarding the types of problem and decisions, you may have well-structured problems, and then this will lead you to programmed decisions, or an unstructured problem can lead you to a non-programmed decision, right? Also, decision-making conditions, it may be certain or may be risky or be uncertain, right? And then you need to carry an exploration about the condition and decide about the approach that you may want to use, that is most fit to the condition, right? When you are making decision. Regarding the style of the decision makers, you may consider directive, analytic, conceptual, and behavioral styles for making decision, right? And the last one, right? The last one, the decision can be maximizing. It means the best one, among the available choices, or implementing. You don't need to choose something. You just need to make decisions that if you want to implement that or not, right? Or evaluating, right? And some more important thing you need to consider as a part of your decision-making process is to reduce errors and biases. Reduce biases and errors. Right. Right. Regarding the approach, right? You may want to choose a rationality, right, to ensure the rationality of the decision-making process. Right. When you can identify the specific constraints, for the condition, for the context, right? You may need to, to generate the alternatives to achieve the maximum value, right? You may want you may need to generate the alternatives that can help you to get maximum value, right? And this is the rational approach, right? When you are based on some assumptions that the decision makers are perfectly rational, fully objective and logical, right? Because the decision process to go through something like a step by step, right? And objectives led, leading to the objectives, right? And the decision makers have carefully defined the problems and identified all of the viable alternatives. Right. It's difficult, right? It's difficult for you to identify all of the viable alternatives, right? Because the information you can collect may be limited, right? Because of the limit in your thing, in the mind, right? You may not think out of the box, right? You just think in the box, something like that. So you may not discover some, better alternatives, right? So the rational approach can be used, just among the alternatives that the decision maker can generate, right? And for use this approach effectively, you may need to have a clear and specific goal, right? Something you can measure, you can imagine very easily, and you can measure easily, right? If not, it's very difficult for you to link the goals with the specified constraints, and it's very difficult for you to consider, if you got the maximum value of the goals or not, for example, right? And another assumption is the decision maker will select the alternatives that maximize outcomes in the organization interest rather than in their own interest, right? Sometimes the interest conflicts between the individual and the organization, right? The individual, they want to take some rest, for example, but the organizations want them to work overtime to get the job done in time as promised to the client, right? So sometimes the benefit conflicts or interest conflicts, right? But we have to ignore that. You have to ignore that, and you assume that all of the employees in your organization will put the priority for the organization's job, not for their own interests. Right. So we summarize the assumption of the rationality. Right. If you got a problem that is clear and unambiguous, and you just got a single well-defined goal to be achieved, and you can identify all of the alternatives and consequences of each alternative, right? And your preferences are clear, constant and stable. Not today you like this one, but tomorrow you like the other one, right? No time or cost constraint exists, because you know that when you do project management, you will know that there is a triangle. The triangle is composed of three elements: the time, the quality, and cost. That's right. Time, quality, and cost, like the triangle, right? So if there is a constraint regarding time or cost, it means you have to do the trade-off, right? The trade-off. It means the quality may be affected. And then you may not get the outcome you need. That's why they have to assume that no time or cost constraint exists. And the last one, the final choice will maximize payoff, right? You get most out of the final choice, right? The second approach is about the rationality. Right. It is similar to the first approach when managers make decisions rationally, right? Use some assumption in there, and they are heading to the maximum payoff. But the decision-making process is limited by the ability to process the information. Right. Sometimes you've got a large amount of information collected, right? But you may not have chance, or may not know how to utilize them the best, right? So in this approach, there are some assumptions. The first one, the decision makers will not seek out or have a knowledge of own alternatives, right? It often happens out there, right? It often happens out there. The decision maker may not have knowledge of all the alternatives. They can just generate alternatives from what they perceive, but from the data that they have collected. That's it, right? For example, in about 1990 something, right? 1990 something, the construction site, the designers for the construction projects, they often need to make decisions about the type of pile to be used in their construction project, right? And because of their limited knowledge, and because it was very difficult, to connect to oversee innovation and technologies, right? So they can just list out like something like the pressing pile and the driven pile as well, right? There's nothing like a broad hole pile. Very long time ago, right? This one entered to Vietnam, like in 1996 or 7, something like that, right? Before that, there's no bore hose pile exists. I mean, the switch provider exists in Vietnam, right? So they can just compare these two, right? These two, and if you open your coverage, you may find out some more alternatives from overseas, right? But you may not consider that because you assume that you will not seek out or have knowledge of own alternatives, and you just like based on what you got in your hand, to make decision, right? Another assumption is the decision maker will satisfies, right? They will choose the first alternatives encountered that satisfactorily solves the problem, not to maximize the outcome of the decision by considering all of the alternatives and then choosing the best. Right. So the first one in the list may be chosen, may be selected, right? And they will not run through all of the available alternatives, right, to find out the best one, right? That's about it. Personality. Intuitive decision making. The decision makers make decisions based on their own experience, feelings, and accumulated judgment, right? Sometimes they don't need data, right? They just feel like that, and then they make decision. That's it, right? And that's the intuitive approach to decision making. Right. Intuition can come from experience, come from the perception of values or ethics. Right. Can be a subconscious mental processing when they use data from a subconscious mind to help them make decisions. Can be cognitive, right? When they based on the skills, the knowledge and training to make decision, or can be initiated by the feelings or by emotions, right? And then they can make decisions, or at least not in the list, not in last but not least, the experience-based decision as well, right? When the managers try to make decisions based on their own past experience, right? Right? Some approaches to evidence-based management. When people use the best available evidence to improve the management practice of their own organization, and they may want to use the expertise and judgment or evidence or the external evidence or the opinions of people in the organization as evidence or some relevant organizational factor as well. Right. These are the evidence which will be based on to make decision. Right. Regarding the types of the problems and the decisions, right? Like in the previous slide, we've categorized the problem into structure problem and unstructured problems, right? Structure problems and unstructured problems, right? And then you've got the program decision, and unprogrammed decisions, right? As a solution for the problems, right? Regarding structural problems, in this type of problems, you know, the goals should be very clear, and the decision maker, we need to find this problem familiar. It means it has occurred before, and the decision makers have had chance to contact with that, right? And the problem is very easily and completely defined, and you can find easily the information about the problems, right? And there is sufficient information, you know, information about the problems to be solved. This is structural programs, right? So you have to, you know, you can develop a procedure to solve this type of problems, right? This type of problems, right? And then you come to the programmed decision. Excuse me. Programmed decision, right? The decisions that have been programmed, right? Anyone into IT in our class? IT, information technology? Anyone good at IT? No? Anyone of you good at IT?
I know about the information technology, but I'm not good.
Can you do the program? Can you program in IT?
No, I can.
Okay.
Somebody can, yes. Link I think it can do program.
But you've learned that in the university, right? You've learned something like some very basic knowledge about IT and programming in
university.
Right? So you can see that when you make decision in the programs, you know, you always need to break down the procedure into steps, right? Step by steps, right? Like the coding codes, you know, in the program, right? And the program decision is the same like that, right? It is the repetitive decision that can be handled by routine approach, step by step procedure, fixed procedure, right? That's program decision. So to solve the structural problems, you may want to use the program decision. And the second group, among the programs decisions, the routine approach, right? You may consider the procedure, the rule, or the policy. The procedure, the rules, or policy. The procedure is the series of interrelated steps that a manager can use to respond to a structural problem, right? Step by step, right? Step one, you do this thing. Step two, this thing, and step three, you check something, and based on the result of the checking, right? You may want to come back to the step before, or you may can can continue to the next one. That's a procedure, right? Another thing is the rule to support the program decision, right? The rule is something like the statement that limit the people, the area managers or employees can do, right? As a policy is something like the general guideline for making decisions about structural problem, right? And there are some examples about the procedure and rule in the textbooks, and you can find some on this slide as well, right? For example, the policy is in a department store. The policy in a department store is to accept all customer returned merchandise. It means, people come to the department to buy goods, and then they came back, right? They came to the department store to buy goods, and then they came back asking, for return, right, for return. That means they don't want that anymore, right? And they have to return to the department store. Some department store may not accept the return, right? May not accept return, especially the one on sale, right? Especially the one on sale. But some may accept. And they've got the policy to accept all the customer return merchandise, right? But some have a mixed policy, accept some, and some may not be accepted. For example, the sale goods, right? There's a good on sales with discount, very big discount may not be returned or changed, right? The procedure. So whenever a customer come to the store to return something, you need to, together with them, follow all steps for completing the merchandise and return documentation. So you have to give them a return documentation and ask them to fill in, right? And then based on that form, based on that form, you need to get approval from your boss to do the return for the client or not, the customer or not, right? And the related rule is to manage. The managers need to approve on the refund over 50 US dollar, right? It means less than 50 US dollar, the cashier or the counter people can handle, right? Another rule is no credit purchases are refunded for cash. So they will, if they return the goods, they can just get back the credit purchases, not the cash. Never pay cash to them, right? And you can keep their credits in your store, and then next time they can come and use the credits to buy more things, right? You don't give them cash because they will bring cash to another store and buy things, and they never come back to you, right? That's what the managers in that department store think, and then they set out that rule. No credit purchases are refunded for cash, right? Okay, guys, do you want to have a 10-minute break? 10 minutes break, please.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
I cannot see Ling. Where are you? You're in dark, right? Ling, are you there? Just something. Just a darkness. Nothing. No one's there. Okay. Now we move to the next one, the unstructured problems, and then the approach to solve those non-programmed decisions. What's wrong? What's wrong with Link?
Sorry, my computer, my laptop problem on
Okay.
camera because when I turn this
So, okay. Okay. I thought the power cut off in your area. Okay. So in opposite to the structural problems, it was some unstructured problems, which are the problems that are new or unusual to you, to decision makers, right? And the one that the information is not very clear or incomplete, insufficient, right? So you may not have enough information, to generate and to explore and evaluate the situation, right? The information is ambiguous and something is very new to you. So you have not enough experience. So, all of those things will lead to the fact that you may not generate all of the viable alternatives, right? All of the viable alternatives. And, there are a lot of, the changes, in the way you progress with the decision-making process, right? There are a lot of scenarios may happen in the future, right? So you may not use the procedures that have been established beforehand to solve those problems. You need to use a non-program decision-making approach, right? And the non-program decision-making, the non-program decisions are the one that are unique and non-recurring. Just be generated for, each of the problems occurring. You may not use that, again in the future. So they are unique and non-recurring, right? And those can generate unique responses, unique, different, very, very unique, distinct responses to the problem. These are the non-program decisions, right? These are opposites to the program decisions, where you can repeat the right, where you can repeat the decision, right, by carry out a routine approach, right? So nothing can be considered as a routine here. Everything is new, right? Because it's new, so you may not have enough information, right? You may not know much or enough about the problems, and that's why you need some custom-made solution, right? Custom-made solution, right? And this table shows you the differences between the program decision and the non-program decisions, right? They're often different in each of the aspects that we want to consider, right? You may not find any similarity between the program decision and the non-program decision in this table, right? So depends on the types of problem, right? Depends on the managerial levels, depends on frequency of the problems, depends on the information available, depends on the goals that have been established for the organization, depends on the time frame, or you may need to choose the best approach to decision-making process, right? And you may be based on the procedures, the rules, the policies for the program decisions, or the judgment and creativity for the non-program decisions, right? if you consider the condition for making decisions, you may differentiate between certainty, risk, and uncertainty. Certainty, risk, and uncertainty. Right. Certainty is a situation in which a manager can make an accurate decision, because the outcome of every alternative choice is known. Right. So you can generate a set or a number of alternatives, right? And each of the alternatives will bring you to an outcome, a specific outcome, right? And they are known, right? They are known, right? Not ambiguous, Just certainty. So certainty is something like the condition existing, right? The condition existing, and it will happen, or will not happen. In other words, it has a probability of 100 or 0. Probability.
Sorry, you didn't share the screen of Microsoft Word.
Yeah, I will. Yeah, I'm turning to moving to that now. Yeah, you got that?
Not yet.
Okay. Probability. Probability, you see? Yeah. That's like the chance to happen. And for certainty, you got 100% or 0%. That's it. Got that? Right. And in opposite, you got uncertainty. Right. Because you don't have enough information. You don't have enough information about the events, the futures. So it limits you in the estimation of the outcome probabilities for alternatives. Right. So it means uncertainty. Uncertainty means you cannot figure out the chance of each of the alternative or outcome. Okay. That's uncertainty. Right. And in between you've got something called risk. Right? Situation in which manager is able to estimate the likelihood or probability of the outcomes as the result of the alternatives. Right. So in this case, the likelihood or probability will be 0, less than that, and less than 100%. Zero less than the likelihood probabilities, and that likelihood of probability is less than 100%. right? So it means something can happen, but also can not happen, or easy word, may happen and may not happen, right? It's a risk, right? And for the certainty conditions, right? Because you know the outcome, so it's very easy for you to calculate, the criterions you use to differentiate between which one is better, which one is worse, which one is better, which one is worse, right? To compare the alternatives, you compare the outcome, right? Because the outcome is known, the outcome of each alternative is known. So in order to choose the alternatives, you need to compare the outcome and choose the better outcome, and then the alternatives related to that outcome that can generate the outcome will be selected. That's for certainty. And for the risk condition, right, because it has some likelihood to happen and also has some likelihood to not happen, right? So in order to make decision, you may need to find out the way to combine the likelihood of not happening with the likelihood of happening, right? So for example, if you are selling something, it's like skiing equipment, skiing used in snow, right? Skiing equipment. If you are selling something, and it depends on the condition of the weather, right? There are three options of the weather. Heavy snowfall, normal snowfall, and light snowfall. Three options, right? And each with the likelihood of 30% for the first one, heavy snowfall, 50% for the second one, normal snowfall, and 20% for the last one, light snowfall. Right.
Please select. When your computer have a problem, we have not seen your screen or the.
Oh really? Sorry.
Yeah.
So when I turn to another screen, you cannot see the new one?
Yeah. We cannot see.
So whenever we change the screen, you need to share again, right?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Okay, so now I can see, right? Yeah, on the screen there's an example about the condition of the weather, right? Heavy snowfall, normal snowfall, and the light snowfall, right? You see that?
We cannot see.
You cannot see
my snowfall. Yeah. Okay. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Right. So if you are running a department store that selling the ski lifts, and their revenue will be affected by the condition of the weather, right? Condition of the weather. And there are three options: heavy snowfall, normal snowfall, and light snowfall, with the likelihood of each is 30%, 50%, and 20% accordingly, right? Accordingly. And then you may make decisions that if you want to open that department store for a certain day, a specific day or not, right? And you can use the this type of model or approach, monetary expected value, to calculate the expected value of each alternative. If you open the store today, right? You open the store today, and it snow heavily, your expected revenues will be 850,000 US dollar. But if it snow normally, right, the revenue will be 725,000. If it snow very lightly, the revenue will be 350,000, right? So the expected value to open as a department store in any day will be calculated by multiplying the expected revenues of each condition with the probability of that condition, and then you add them up. Right? So you come up with 687,500 US dollar if you open your department store. And when you want to make decision, you want to compare with the alternatives that you don't open the department store that day, right? You don't open that day, right? And then you compare the income. You can say that if you don't open that store, right, with the alternatives that you open the store, and then you make decision. Just making decision based on the risky condition. We call risky because all of the likelihoods of each of the condition are known here, right? Very clearly are known, right? 30%, 50%, and 20%. But most of the time, you may not know the likelihood of each of the outcome. It means you are in uncertain condition, right? And if you are in uncertain condition, you can use one of those three way to make decision about things, right? The first one is maximax. When you are a very optimistic manager, maximax. The second is maximin. When you are a pessimistic manager. And the last one, minimax. When you consider about something they call the regret, right? Minimax, regret, right? For example, if you are running Visa and your enemy, your competitor is MasterCard, you heard about that? You got a card with Master or Visa? Have you?
Yes, I have.
You have what, Visa or Master?
Visa.
Visa, okay.
Yeah.
Is that a debit or credit card? Debit or credit? Debit means you have to have money in there, and then you can use. And credit means you can be in debt. You can borrow money from them. So is that a debit or credit? Debit or credit? Good.
Yeah, debit card.
Debit card. Good.
Yeah.
Okay. And Visa and MasterCard, they are enemies. They are competitors because they provide the same service, right? Of course, something like the additional value, may be different, but they provide the same service, right? Credit card and debit card. Yeah. Something like a trustworthy, right? Trustworthy for the transactions between people, right, all over the world, right? Right. And you're running Visa. And you got four marketing strategy. Right. They are called S1, S2, S3, and S4, 4 strategies of Visa, right? And there are some scenarios, that MasterCard may respond according to the strategies that Visa applied, right? Also, expected profit that Visa may get is 13.13. If MasterCard apply CA2 strategy or plan, right, the benefits or profits for S1 is 14. And if MasterCard runs CA3 campaign, right, Visa can get 11 as the benefit from that marketing strategy. And similar for S2, S3, and S4. And then we got a table, with figures like this, right? With figures like this. So which strategy should Visa implement? Which strategy should Visa implement? Can you answer for me? Yeah. Link. Can you see my screen, Link?
The screen,
Yeah, you see my screen, right?
I don't get this. I'm sorry, I don't know how to solve.
So something wrong with your computer? So you cannot see my screen?
I see the screen, but
You don't know the solution?
it's just I don't know the solution. I don't know the proof. I don't know how much card works, so I don't get the problem.
So you see the figures in the table, right?
Yes.
Okay, and you know that S means strategy. S means strategy, right? S1, S2, S3, S4. These are the strategies that Visa may select, right, to implement. And CA and CA2 and CA3 is 3 scenarios that MasterCard will respond to each of the strategies that Visa applies, right? And for each of the scenarios that MasterCard responds, Visa may get benefit, and the benefits are filled in the table, right? Filled in the table, and you have to find out the strategies that Visa need to implement in order to get maximum payoff, to get maximum benefit or profit, right? So which one would you choose depends on the type of person or the type of decision-making process you are following, right? If you are a very optimistic manager, what does optimistic mean? When optimistic in Vietnamese?
Is mean lạc quan, yeah.
Yeah, and so pessimistic as well, right? Pessimistic.
Big one.
Yeah, big one. It was it. Good. So if you are an optimistic manager, right, you will choose the approach of Maximax. Maximax means the maximum number, the maximum benefit you can get from applying any strategy, right? Maximum number you can get from applying any strategy, right? So what strategy should you use? What strategy should you implement?
Three.
Why? Why not?
It's optimistic. It's maximum guess is 24.
24, right? Okay. So you can see the largest number, the largest figure in that table is 24, and 24 is
the 54 is 28. 28 is like in
28 here, not 24. Right? 28 is the largest number in that table. Right.
thầy ơi, thầy giải thích lại cái case này bằng tiếng Việt không? Không có bọn em không hiểu được.
Ok.
Nói cái gì?
Chờ mình tí mình mở cái file này trong ấy ra luôn, trong cái sách ấy. Để lấy cái số cụ thể cho nó dễ. Tức là như này nhé, là một cái bạn là một cái bạn đang chạy một cái chiến dịch marketing cho visa. Bạn đang chạy một chiến dịch marketing cho visa. Và như vậy là bạn có 4 cái chiến lược bạn có thể đưa vào áp dụng. 4 cái S, S1, S2, S3, S4 là 4 chiến lược strategy mà bạn có thể áp dụng. Và bên Mastercard là đối thủ của bạn, người ta có 3 cái kịch bản, 3 kịch bản khác nhau người ta có thể đưa ra để ứng phó với của mình. Nhé. Đấy, kịch bản nhất là CA1, kịch bản thứ hai là CA2 và kịch bản thứ ba là CA3. Đấy. Thế thì khi mà bạn chạy S1, bạn chạy chiến lược S1 thì ông đối thủ bạn, ông sẽ áp dụng một trong 3 chiến lược kia, một trong 3 cái kịch bản của ông ta. Nếu ông gọi là ông áp dụng kịch bản thứ nhất, thì như vậy là cái lợi nhuận mà bạn có được trong cái chiến dịch đấy nó sẽ là 13 đơn vị. Đấy. Còn nếu mà ông ấy chạy kịch bản thứ hai thì cái lợi nhuận mà bạn có được là 14 đơn vị. Ông ấy chạy kịch bản thứ ba thì bạn lợi nhuận có được 11 đơn vị. Thế còn nếu mình chạy kịch bản thứ hai thì lại mình chạy chiến lược thứ hai thì theo các kịch bản nó sẽ tương ứng chúng ta có được là 9 đơn vị, 15 đơn vị, 18 đơn vị. Theo kịch bản thứ ba thì tương ứng là 24, theo chiến lược thứ ba thì sẽ 24, 21 và 15, và theo chiến lược thứ tư thì 18, 14 và 25, 28 rồi. Đấy. Thế thì bây giờ xem bạn cần quyết định là bạn sẽ chọn cái chiến lược nào để bạn đưa áp dụng trong thực tế. Đúng không ạ? Thì nó phụ thuộc vào bạn là người loại gì. Nếu bạn là người lạc quan nhé, nếu bạn là người lạc quan thì bạn sẽ chọn cái gì? Bạn là người lạc quan thì bạn sẽ nghĩ là những cái gì tốt đẹp nhất là sẽ xảy ra, đúng không? Những gì tốt đẹp nhất xảy ra, cho nên bạn chọn một số cao nhất. Chắc chắn là rất là may mắn, tôi là luôn may, cho nên là kiểu gì tôi làm cũng sẽ ra được cái lợi ích tốt nhất là 28. Và như vậy là tương ứng với nó là gì ạ? Là chiến lược thứ mấy được chọn lại? Chiến lược thứ tư. Có nghĩa bạn sẽ mặc định luôn là nếu tôi chọn chiến lược thứ tư thì chắc chắn ông Mastercard sẽ chọn cái kịch bản CA3. Đấy, nếu bạn là người lạc quan thì là như thế. Đó. Thế cho nên người ta gọi là Maxi Max là vì thế mà. Max gọi là Max rồi đúng không? Maxi là Max của Max là thế. Đấy, Max của Max là vì thế. Thế cho nên là cái cách để generate thì là hoặc là bạn sẽ trực tiếp lấy luôn cái con số to nhất trong bảng, hoặc cách khác là bạn sẽ tính theo từng cái alternatives. Tức là nếu tôi chọn S1 thì tôi sẽ chắc chắn rằng là sẽ được giá trị là 14. Nếu tôi chọn S2 tôi chắc chắn sẽ được giá trị là 18. Nếu tôi chọn S3 tôi chắc chắn sẽ được giá trị 24. Và nếu tôi chọn S4 tôi chắc chắn sẽ được giá trị 28. Như vậy là số lớn nhất trong từng hàng, the maximum number in a row in each of the strategy, maximum number in a row. Và sau đó thì bạn chọn cái tuấn lớn nhất trong các cái số đã được chọn ra như thế. Đúng không? You get the maximum number from the figures that have been selected. Như vậy là bạn sẽ có là so sánh 14, 18, 24 với 28. Đúng không ạ? Thì trong trường hợp bạn là một người lạc quan thì bạn sẽ chọn 28. và tương ứng với nó sẽ là chiến lược thứ tư, S4. Ok, understand?
Understand.
Okay. The next one will be more complicated. If you are not an optimistic person, if you are not an optimistic person, but you are a pessimistic person, nếu bạn là một người bi quan, đúng không ạ? So the second is Maximin approach will be chosen. Maximin, you start with mean, and then you get the maximum of the means. You understand? You start with the minimum figures for each of the strategy. You start with the minimum figures from each strategy, and then you get the maximum number from the minimum. Cái thứ hai là nội trường hợp lạc quan, bi quan, thì cái chiến lược dùng là Maximin. Maximin có nghĩa là gì? Là lấy những số nhỏ nhất, lấy phương án nhỏ nhất, lấy cái con số outcome, kết quả nhỏ nhất của mỗi chiến lược bỏ ra, so sánh chúng với nhau và chọn ra cái gì nhỏ nhất hay lớn nhất trong số đấy. Tức là không phải hoàn toàn là quá bi quan, đúng không? Nếu quá bi quan thì tôi chọn ngay là 9, đúng không? Nếu tôi quá bi quan tôi chọn ngay là 9, bởi tôi rất là đen cho nên tôi chọn S2, và đương nhiên cái ông CA1 cái ông sẽ được xuất hiện, cho nên tôi sẽ chọn cái phương án là 9. Đấy. Nhưng thực ra là không phải là như thế, nó vẫn có cái khả năng nào đấy. Cho nên tôi bi quan ở chỗ là nếu tôi chọn S1 thì tôi sẽ nghĩ rằng là theo hướng bi quan là cùng lắm được 11. Nếu tôi chọn S2 cùng lắm được 9. Nếu chọn S3 cùng lắm được 15. Và nếu chọn S4 cùng lắm được 14. Đấy. Và tôi sẽ chọn con số to nhất trong số các con số nhỏ nhất đấy. Max của min mà, đúng không? Maximin means max of the means. Thế như vậy là bạn sẽ được bao nhiêu? Bạn sẽ được giá trị là hàng thứ nhất là bao nhiêu ạ? Là 11. Hàng thứ hai là mấy ạ? 9. Hàng thứ ba là bao nhiêu ạ? 15. Hàng thứ tư là bao nhiêu ạ? 14.
15.
Vậy là số nào to nhất?
15
to nhất. So what strategy should be used?
Should be 3.
Which strategy? Là 3 đúng không ạ? Yeah, 3, S3. Yeah.
Cái trong này là cái này là cái lợi nhuận mong muốn, đúng không? Cái lợi nhuận mong muốn trong cái chiến lược kinh doanh, đúng không ạ?
Nó không phải là lợi nhuận mong muốn mà lợi nhuận có thể thu được ấy. Người ta kỳ vọng đấy.
Vâng, người ta kỳ vọng
là nó sẽ xảy ra
lớn nhất.
Nó không phải là mong muốn đâu.
Vâng.
Đấy, tức là nó được nghĩ rằng sẽ xảy ra như thế em ạ, chứ không phải là kỳ vọng theo nghĩa là chúng ta hiểu kỳ vọng là mong muốn, có đâu, có được đâu.
Kỳ vọng xảy ra.
Kỳ vọng xảy ra đấy. Như vậy đây là max, bạn cứ nhìn cái từ thì thấy maximax là tất cả những thứ to nhất của cái to nhất, nhưng maximin chỉ là lấy max của những cái min nữa. Đấy, hai trường hợp đồ là như thế. And the most complicated is to follow. Cái trường hợp khó nhất thì mới là đi theo sau này. Nó có tình huống này, cái này nó khó, mình giải thích tiếng Việt cho các bạn dễ hiểu. Nếu giả sử mình chọn chiến lược là S4 nhé, S4, nếu giả sử mình chọn chiến lược S4 thì mình đang kỳ vọng là gì ạ? Là thằng kia đã ra là CA3, đúng không? Mình đang kỳ vọng là sẽ ra CA3, đúng không? Thì mình sẽ được cái lớn nhất là 28, đúng không ạ? Đấy. Nhưng nó lại không ra CA3, nó lại ra CA1. Rồi bạn thực ra bạn chỉ được có bao nhiêu? Bạn được có 18, đúng không ạ? Nếu bạn chọn S4 để bạn thực hiện và bạn nghĩ rằng là bạn có khả năng đạt được 28, bởi vì bạn chắc rằng là cái ông master kia ông sẽ chọn cái phương án 3, CA3. Nhưng thực tế bố không chọn CA3, bố chọn CA1. Bố sẽ chọn CA1 có nghĩa là bạn chỉ được có bao nhiêu? Bạn được có 18. Bạn hiểu chưa? Đấy, bạn hiểu chưa? Hiểu rồi nhá. Đấy. Như vậy bạn sẽ tiếc. You will have regret. Why you didn't select S3? Tại sao bạn không chọn cái 3? Nó bị tiếc lắm. Biết thế chọn cái 3. Đúng không? Biết thế tôi chọn cái 3. Nhưng biết thế thì giàu lâu rồi, đúng không? Cho nên bạn tiếc, nhưng mà vấn đề bạn tiếc thế nào thì chắc chắn là bạn sẽ tiếc ít hơn là trường hợp bạn chọn S2. Nếu bạn chọn S2 thì bạn sẽ kỳ vọng được 18 nhưng thực tế bạn được có 9, đúng không? Lúc bạn tiếc nhiều hơn chứ. Bảo giá tôi chọn S3 thì tôi được tận 24. Nhưng mà khi ông chọn S2 là sẽ có mức độ hối tiếc là cao hơn ông chọn S4. Hiểu không? Ông tiếc nhiều hơn. Ông chọn S2 sẽ có mức độ hối tiếc là cao hơn S4, ông tiếc nhiều hơn. Và cái độ tiếc nó đo bằng cái gì ạ? Nó đo bằng cái khoảng cách giữa cái 24 với 18 và 9. Đấy, ông S4 ông sẽ tiếc mức độ là 24 trừ 18 là mấy? Là 6. Ông tiếc 6 thôi. Nhưng mà cái ông S2 kia thì ông sẽ tiếc mấy? 24 trừ đi 9 là mấy? 15. Một ông tiếc 6, một ông tiếc 15, đúng không? Tức là mức độ hối tiếc của ông S2 là cao hơn rất nhiều so với lại ông S4. Đấy. Và tương tự như vậy nếu tôi chọn S3 thì mức độ hối tiếc của tôi sẽ là bao nhiêu? Xin lỗi, S1 nếu tôi chọn S1 thì mức độ hối tiếc của tôi là bao nhiêu? Tương tự thôi. Đúng không? Nếu chọn S4 thì mức độ hối tiếc là mấy? Là 24 trừ 18 là mấy? 6 đúng không? Nếu tôi chọn S2 thì mức độ hối tiếc của tôi là 24 trừ 9 bằng bao nhiêu? 15 đúng không ạ? Nếu tôi chọn S1 thì mức độ hối tiếc của tôi là bao nhiêu? 24 trừ bao nhiêu? Trừ 13 đúng không ạ? Bằng mấy? 11. Đấy. Được chưa? Đấy chính là mức độ hối tiếc đấy. Thì nếu tôi chọn đúng S3 thì mức độ hối tiếc của tôi là bao nhiêu?
Không tiếc.
Yeah. Không tiếc, đúng không? Bằng không. Ok. Bằng không. Right. So you see my screen, right? Bạn đã nhìn thấy cái slide của tôi đúng không?
Đó. Yes.
Tại vì mình vừa chuyển màn hình ra chỗ khác, mình sợ lại các bạn lại mất. Rồi vẫn nhìn thấy slide được rồi. Đấy. Như vậy là gì ạ? Trong trường hợp mà dùng cái phương pháp minimax, vừa đây là maximin nhé, bây giờ minimax. Đấy. Minimax thì trước tiên là bạn phải tính được cái gọi là cái mức độ hối tiếc đã. Đấy. Bạn phải có mức độ hối tiếc đã, tức là bạn phải có cái bảng mức độ hối tiếc tính vào đấy đã. Đúng không? Bạn có cái bảng mức độ hối tiếc tính vào đấy đã. Đấy, thì mình sẽ share cho các bạn cái bảng mức độ hối tiếc. Thấy chưa? Thấy mức bảng đồ tiếp đấy chưa? Bạn nhìn thấy màn hình mới chưa trong cái sách giáo khoa chưa? Nếu nhìn thấy bảng mới đúng không ạ? Bảng mới trong đó là S1 lại giá trị là 11, 7, 17 ấy, thấy chưa?
Thấy rồi.
Rồi, ok. So this table show you the degree of regrets that you got for each of these strategy, right? Như vậy là bạn cứ lấy gì ạ? Tính cái bảng này theo cái cách tính vừa nãy đúng không ạ? Cái tính là gì ạ? Lấy số lớn nhất trong từng gì? Lấy số lớn nhất trong từng hàng, từng cột ạ?
Cột.
Từng cột, đúng không ạ? Làm ra số gốc. Sau đó số đấy trừ đi các số tương ứng trong cùng cái cột đấy, đúng không ạ? Cột 1 là số to nhất là 24. Bạn trừ đi con số S1 là 13 còn 11, trừ đi con số S2 là 9 còn 15, trừ đi con số S4 là 18 thì còn 6, đúng không? Đấy. Còn cái thứ hai thì cũng là 21 là to nhất. 21 to nhất là nằm ở S3. Đúng không? Thì bạn lấy 21 trừ đi 16 thì còn 7, trừ đi 17 thì còn 6, trừ đi 16 nữa thì còn 7. Còn cái thứ ba thì là cái to nhất là số S4, đúng không? S4 sẽ là 28. Từ đấy bạn trừ ngược đi là ra. Đây là cái bảng mức độ hối tiếc. Đây là bảng mức độ hối tiếc. Đấy. Thế giờ câu chuyện của chúng ta là gì ạ? Minimax, đúng không? Minimax. Minimax có nghĩa là lấy max xong rồi lấy min, đúng không? Lấy max rồi lấy min. Lấy max của gì ạ? Lấy max của từng hàng, đúng không? Lấy max của từng hàng này. 7, 11, 7, 17 là 17, 15, 6, 10 là 15, 00, 13 là 13 và 6, 7 là 7. Lấy max của từng hàng, sau đó lấy min của cái hàng của những số đấy, đúng không? Lấy min của những số đấy thì là đầu từ mấy ạ?
7.
Thứ 7.
6
7 chứ. Max của từng hàng mà, thì max của hàng cuối là 7 chứ đâu phải 6 đâu.
Vâng 7 em nhầm.
Đấy, cho nên là cuối cùng là quay còn lại là em vẫn chọn là strategy mấy, chiến lược mấy. Cả phương án thứ nhất là maximax và phương án thứ ba là minimax thì đều cho chúng ta phương án là chúng ta nên chọn S4, đúng không ạ? Chọn S4 thì như vậy là cái mức độ hối tiếc của chúng ta hoặc là cái lợi ích kỳ vọng về mặt lạc quan của chúng ta sẽ tốt hơn. Đấy, nhưng nó hơi khác một chút so với lại cái phương án thứ hai, đúng không ạ? Cái trường hợp mà chọn maximin này, maximin thì chúng ta lại chọn S3 cơ, đúng không ạ? Đấy, S3 chứ không phải S4. Như vậy là có hai trường hợp đấy thôi. Bây giờ còn thay vì có 4 cái chiến lược S1, S2, S3, S4, có 4 cái chiến lược như thế thì bây giờ bạn chỉ còn có mỗi 2 chiến lược để chọn thôi, đúng không ạ? Tùy thuộc vào bạn là người lạc quan, người bi quan và bọn chọn cái nào là phù hợp. Là S3 và S4 hết, S1, S2 will be crossed out. Okay, so this is the way you make decision, based on the conditions, right? In uncertainty, in risky, uncertain, risky, and certain conditions, right? And the approach may be used maximax, maximin, and minimax, right? Accordingly. Okay. Right. Regarding the style, the decision-making process, right? Based on the way of thinking, you may have a rational, orderly, and consistent decision-making style. You may have intuitive, creative, and unique decision-making style. If you think of the tolerance of ambiguity, right? Tolerance, you may have the low tolerance or high tolerance for the decision-making style. Right. And depends on the decision makers, what the type of people they are. You may have directive decision-making approach, analytic decision-making approach, conceptual decision-making approach, or behavioral decision-making approach, right? In directive, you will use minimum information and consider only some few alternatives that you think the best. You are directive, right? So you just like giving orders to the subordinates, right? And you will be the decision maker. You will have no involvement from the employees, from the subordinates to your decision making process. You use your own information you can collect. You just consider only the alternatives that you can generate. That's it, reality. But in another way, if you are an analytic person, right? Analytic person, you will often be more carefully in making decisions, right? Based on the data you can analyze, you can collect it and can analyze, right? Regarding the next one, the conceptual decision process, right? You need to maintain a broad outlook, and you need to find out, the available alternatives to compare with each other. Then you can make decision. Regarding behavioral, right? When you make decisions, you avoid conflicting by you avoid the conflicts, with the colleagues and other people by working well with others and being receptive to the suggestion. Right. So anyone suggest something, you may want to collect the suggestion and then put them in the list to consider, right? That's a behavioral. As this table will show you, when you should use the approach based on the manager styles, the decision maker style, right? If you want tolerance for ambiguity high, and you are more an intuitive person, right? You may come up with the conceptual decision-making process, right? But if you are more rational, you will be good at analytic decision-making process, right? If both of the tolerance for ambiguities and the way of thinking are low, right, you will be directive, right, or behavioral. If the way of thinking is a bit higher, more into intuitions.
Tolerance.
Okay.
Tolerance.
There is a very popular way, for making this for decision-making process. You may want to apply. Right. It consists of 8 steps. It consists of 8 steps. Very like continuous steps. Step 1 to 8, and it follows the rational and the structure. The program decision-making process, and you may want to use them to solve or make decision in the structure problems, for the structure problems, right? Those steps of the process consist of 8. 1, right? You start with identifying a problem and decision criteria, and then you allocate weight to the criteria. And then you develop the alternatives. You analyze available alternatives, and then you select the best one that can be solved the problem. And you implement the selected alternatives, and then you evaluate your decisions, right? And these steps are broken down into 8 steps. These steps are broken down into 8 steps. For example, if your problem is you need a new computer, you need some new computers, You need some new computers for your sales representative.
Tolerance for ambiguity.
Right, that's the problem. The problem has been identified, right? And because there are a lot of, computers models, available in the market, right? A lot of brands, brand names. So you need to make choice. Which one is better? Which one is the best to choose, right? And in order to know which one is the best for you, you need to identify some criteria for selection, right? And in terms of the computers, you will think of memory and storage and so on. Display quality, screen 2, battery life 3, warranty, the time and the duration for the warranty, right? 4, and carrying weight, 5. You may want to add some more in the list, right? But these are the very popular criteria that has been used, have been used for people to choose a computer, right? But among those, some may be more important. Some may be more important than others, right? So we need to allocate the weight to each of the criterion, the weight to each criterion, right? For example, you assign 10 for memory and storage, assign 8 for battery life, assign 6 for carrying weight, 4 for warranty, and 3 for display quality. It means memory and storage are more important, is the most important, right? Thing. Battery life second, carrying weight 3, the third, warranty the fourth, and display quality is the last one. Important in terms of importance, right? And then you investigate the market, and you find out 8 alternatives. 8 alternatives: Toshiba Protege, HP Babylon, Sony Vaio, Toshiba Cosmio, Dell Inspiron, Apple iBook, Gateway, and Lenovo ThinkPad. 8 alternatives available in the market, right? And then you have to analyze all of the alternatives based on what? Based on the weight based on the aspects of the criteria you will decided here, right? And what you evaluate each of the alternatives in terms of each of the criteria, right? You evaluate each of the brand names or alternatives in terms of each of the criteria. For example, for Toshiba Protege, you have to give some points or marks for that model, for that brand name, in terms of memory and storage. Some points for that model in terms of battery life, some marks for carrying weight, some mark for warranty, some mark for display quality, etc. And you do the same for the last in the list, right? Is the last in the list. HP Pavilion, Sony Vaio, Toshiba Cosmio, Dell Inspiron, etc. Right. And based on the calculation, right? You may find out the one that should be selected. That is Toshiba Cosmio. And then you implement. You will go and sign contract with the provider, with suppliers, to get the Toshiba Cosmio for your sales representatives, right? And the last step is to evaluate of the decision. If it's wrong, it was wrong, or if it was right, it was correct, right? Is there any way you can get more benefit from that, decision process or not, right? These are the zero framework, and you can see the figures, right? The problem. So it starts with the problem, right? What is the problem? Problem is a difference or discrepancy between an existing and desired state of affairs, right? You have only a number of computers, but you need more than that for the sales representatives. It means there's a discrepancy, and then you have to fill that. Right? That's the problem. Right. There are a lot of issues, available or emerging in your organization, but it just only becomes a problem when a manager becomes aware of it. They are aware of it, and then they can solve the problems, related to linked to the situation. Right. And another condition for making decision in this, using this approach more efficiently and effectively, the manager must have the information or resources needed to solve the problem. Right. Come back to our PC personal computer. Don't approve. The boss said don't approve. It means the problem will not be solved. Right. So that's why you must give enough power to the managers, give them enough authority or even information or resources for them to solve the problem. Right. And the next step is to identify the right. So you have to explore and investigate the aspects that are important to you, and they are embedded in the solution, right? And then you can evaluate, assess the criteria later. You make decision about the weight, which one is more important, which one is less important, right? And you assign a weight to each of the items, right? For example, you run through this, right? The memory and storage 10, and the last one is the display quality, only 3 weight 3. Not very important, right? The least important is this list, right? Then you develop the alternatives. In our example, you just look out to the market, and then you brand names of PCs that you may want to buy from, right? But in other situation, you have to generate alternatives, right? And then you analyze them. So you got the weight for memory and storage 10, battery life 8, and carrying weight and warranty and display quality 3, right? And then you assign the point for each of the model or brand name in each of the aspect. For example, with Toshiba Protege, right, you assign 10 for the aspect of memory storage, only 3 for battery life, maybe it lasts only 1 hour, right? 1 hour. 10 for the weight, very light. Warranty 8, a bit long warranty. And display quality only 5, high out of 10, right? Not very good, right? Similar for Dell Inspiron 700M, memory state only 8 point, battery life 7 point, carrying weight 7 point again, warranty 8 point, and display quality 7. HP Pavilion ZD 1000, memory storage 8, 5 battery life, carrying weight 7, warranty 10, and display quality 10. These are the marks or the points you assign to each of the aspect to measure the brand names, right? And you multiply on of these figures with the weight, and we come to this one, this table. For example, memory and storage are assigned the weight of 10, right? And in this table, you assign 10 points or 10 marks for Toshiba Protege in terms of memory and storage. And you get 10 multiplied with 10, and you come up with 100. Another example from Lenovo ThinkPad R52, right? and we are considering the display quality. The display quality weight. Display quality's weight is only 3, right? But for Lenovo, think about R52, you assign the quality, display quality, right? And then you multiply 3 with 10 and you got 30. You got 30 display quality. Is that clear? Cái này thì nếu mà gọi một cách đơn giản tiếng Việt thì người ta gọi là phương pháp cho điểm tổng hợp. Phương pháp cho điểm tổng hợp tức là bạn sẽ cần phải có một cái danh mục các cái khía cạnh cần phải xem xét. Ở đây chúng ta có nói đến là để chọn là máy tính, cho nên người ta quan tâm đến bộ nhớ, đúng không? Bộ nhớ của ổ đĩa đấy, đến cái thời gian của pin, rồi cái khả năng cái nhẹ, tức là cái mức độ nặng nhẹ, đúng không? Trọng lượng ấy, đây là vấn đề bảo hành, và cuối cùng là cái chất lượng của việc hiển thị ấy, tức là màn hình ấy, đúng không? Và bởi vì là 5 cái yếu tố này thì nó lại có cái mức độ quan trọng khác nhau, cho nên dựa trên cơ sở chính cái đội ngũ chúng ta sẽ đánh giá và gắn cái tỷ trọng cho từng cái cạnh đấy. Ví dụ như là memory storage là người ta gắn bằng 10, battery life người ta gắn bằng 8, còn display quality người ta gắn bằng 3, đúng không? Sau đấy là các bạn tìm ra được các cái phương án có trên thị trường. Ở đây chúng ta có 8 phương án về máy tính, và với mỗi khía cạnh thì chúng ta sẽ cho điểm từng cái phương án một. Ví dụ như khía cạnh đầu tiên là memory storage, chúng ta cho 10 cho Toshiba Voltage, cho 7 cho Sony Vaio VGM FS 790, right, and 10 for Toshiba Cosmio G15 AV501. Đấy. Chúng ta dán cái điểm cho từng khía cạnh đó, cho từng cái phương án và theo từng khía cạnh, và sau đấy là chúng ta tính ra được cái số tổng hợp. Đây là số nhân đó, nhân như tôi vừa trình bày đấy. Với memory storage thì là Toshiba VTG là tuyệt đỉnh, nhân cho 10 điểm đó, 10 điểm, và cũng là 10 điểm, và cũng là cái hệ số 10 luôn, đúng không? Cái weight là tỷ trọng cũng là 10 luôn. Và tương tự như bây giờ thì câu chuyện là kết luận thì các bạn sẽ thấy là để kết luận được chúng ta sẽ tìm ra cái giá trị lớn nhất trong số những cái giá trị này, đúng không? Cái bảng total, cái con total của cái bảng này, các bạn sẽ thấy là Toshiba Cosmio là có cái giá trị total ở đây là lớn nhất là 249. Các bạn nhìn thấy màn hình kìa, đấy, 249, và đấy chính là cái phương án chúng ta sẽ chọn. Đấy, chúng ta sẽ đi mua Toshiba Cosmio, đấy, chúng ta sẽ mua Toshiba Cosmio là như thế. Đấy, cách cho điểm tổng hợp là như vậy. Cách này thì nó có cái thuận lợi là tính toán rất là dễ, rất là đơn giản, nhưng có cái khó là gì, là nhiều khi không biết cho điểm thế nào, bởi vì nó sẽ không có barem quá chuẩn để mà chúng ta so đấy đâu. Cái này thường kiểu cái quyết định tính, thế nó hoàn toàn là do cái câu chuyện là cái người đánh giá thì người ta chọn là cái phương án nào thôi. Đấy là cái phương pháp ra quyết định, đúng không? Ra quyết định. Tám bước, chúng ta nhớ là 8 bước, và chúng ta nhớ thêm một cái nữa là cái bước cuối cùng nó lại vòng ngược trở lại đến bước đầu tiên, đúng không? Đấy, bước cuối cùng là evaluation of decision effectiveness, thì lại vòng trở lại đến cái bước identification of problem. Cái này dễ hiểu rồi, là cái kết quả đánh giá giai đoạn trước nó sẽ được sử dụng lại để cải tiến giai đoạn sau, cho nên sẽ đi cùng với từ cái bước gọi là identification of problem cho đến giai đoạn dưới nữa. Sau đó cái giải pháp được đưa vào thực hiện thực tiễn, đúng không? Đấy. Và sẽ được đánh giá định kỳ tiếp. Right. So you want to use that process, for making decisions, right? You need to make, you need to change, right, yourself, right? And you want to refer to this characteristics as a list of characteristics of an effective decision-making process, right, in order to help you to get most from that, right? An effective decision-making process focuses on what is important, not everything, not focus on everything, just what's important, right? So you choose out the aspects, right? And it is logical and consistent. It is logic, right? Because it was step by step, right? And then in the following step, you may want to go back to the previous one, right? To maintain the consistencies. Right. It requires only as much information and analysis as is necessary. Right. You need information. You need to collect information to evaluate and give marks. Right. It is straightforward, reliable, easy to use, and flexible. Right. It is very, very straightforward because it's only 8 steps, and it's reliable. Provided that the expert who gives the marks to each of the alternatives is good. It's reliable, right? And it's very easy to use. Yeah, of course. Yeah, there's no complicated calculation, and very flexible as well. Right. Right. And the last thing you need to consider about the decision-making process is errors and biases. You may want to refer to this list of common errors and biases, and then try to find out the way to avoid. Right. There are some things you may think more important to you, right? Something like overconfidence, right? Or something about the sunk costs, right? The randomness, right? Availability, etc. Right. Sometimes, people are overconfident, feeling overconfident about the situation, and it leads to some bias, right? Like you are always very lucky, right? So if you choose S4, it means the MasterCard will respond with CA3, for example. It's overconfident, right? Overconfident. And another bias, you choose the alternatives that offer immediate rewards, not the long term. Right. Immediate rewards. And the one, sometimes you try to choose the alternatives that help you to avoid immediate costs. Immediate costs. right? So you may need to think, about the whole cycle. The whole life cycle, right? The entire life cycle of the things, not really focus on the near future, right? Anchoring effect. Anchoring effect. Right. You just focus on the initial information and you forgot to evaluate some frame bias, availability bias, representatives bias, and randomness bias. So there are a lot of bias, and you may need to refer and review, this list, whenever you make decision in order to avoid those biases, right? Right. And these are all for the lecture today. So as in plan, next week we will have some presentation, right? And you will need to divide yourself into 2 groups to do the presentation. And you will need to be in time because I've got a meeting that I cannot, absent at 8 o'clock in the morning, right? So you've got only 1 hour and 15 minutes for your presentation, and including the Q&A sessions. So we start, the presentation at 6:45 sharp, next week, right? And you will be ready. You need to be ready for the presentation. So have you decided about the groups yet? Who with whom?
Yeah, we are already separate groups.
Okay.
And me and Linh. Me and Linh and one group.
Hưng và Nguyên.
Yes.
Ok, good. Như vậy các bạn lưu tâm là như này nha, là mình gửi các bạn là gửi mấy thứ đấy. Nhất là gửi đề thi này, đề làm này. Cái thứ hai là có cái form gọi là form đánh giá. Bạn nhìn thấy form đánh giá chưa? Evaluation form ấy.
Chưa
thì để mình gửi qua group cho các bạn. Các bạn sẽ phải in cái form đấy ra. Các bạn sẽ phải đánh giá đội kia, hiểu không? Tức là ví dụ như nhóm Quyết với Linh là làm thì đội Hưng với lại Nguyên sẽ đánh giá, và nhóm Hưng với lại Nguyên làm thì đội Quyết với Linh sẽ đánh giá. Đấy, trên cơ sở những cái khía cạnh để đánh giá. Mình nhớ là mình gửi ngay từ đầu rồi mà. Có thể mình sẽ gửi
hai đề bài ạ.
Không, đây là form đề bài là gửi qua ấy, nhưng còn cái tài liệu đấy thì gửi ngay từ đầu tiên đấy. Không có hả? Ngay từ đầu tiên là mình đã gửi tài liệu đấy rồi. Đấy, không sao, mình sẽ gửi lại cho các bạn, không có gì. Nhưng nếu có cái đấy thì các bạn sẽ dễ, các bạn chuẩn bị cái presentation của mình nó dễ hơn, hiểu không? Tại vì trong đấy là có cái tiêu chí đánh giá, thì mình nhìn trên cơ sở tiêu chí để mình chuẩn bị, để mình xem mình có biết được những tiêu chí này không. Thế thôi, đơn giản thế thôi. Và cái nữa là bởi vì thời gian nó rất là ngắn cho nên mình không được nói dài. Thì trong cái bài tập đấy thì mình nhớ là mình cho các bạn khoảng 15 phút, hiểu không? 15 phút một nhóm. Đấy. Và có hai nhóm làm thì mất nửa tiếng, cộng với Q&A mỗi nhóm 5 phút thì là vừa đủ thời gian. Thì 8 giờ mình đi họp là vừa. Đấy. Yeah. Cho nên cố gắng đừng đến muộn. Okay. So I can send you the evaluation form now. NTU.
Alo ạ.
Ok.
Những lúc đấy thuyết trình mình sẽ thuyết trình qua
Zoom rồi đấy.
Qua Zoom luôn ạ.
Qua Zoom luôn đi. Bây giờ như này nhá, để cho nó dễ thì tại vì là trường người ta đang khóa cái chức năng cho bọn em share rồi.
Vâng.
Đúng không? Tất cả tài khoản này là người ta khóa.
Hay là mình tự lập Zoom riêng cũng được ạ?
Cho nên em tự lấy Zoom riêng sẽ em mời mình. Đấy chính là mình nói thế. Thế cho nó dễ nhé. Của em tự lấy Zoom riêng, em mời mình vào đấy, cái là nó đơn giản nhất.
Dạ vâng.
Ok. Rồi, thế thôi, thì mình sẽ gửi các bạn cái qua ấy bây giờ là thôi, chúng ta nghỉ thôi.
Dạ vâng ạ.
Xin chào.
Thầy ạ.
Em thầy.
Rồi.
Bye bye.